little tutorial on your topic 1 practice test. Hopefully when you worked through it, you didn't look like this young lady as she contemplates higher level math. Well, maybe you did struggle in some places, and we're going to go over it to make sure you understand everything. So let's get going. Okay, these first two problems, you probably did a dance because you're like, yes, I'm so glad he asked me this because all I got to do is flip it. The reciprocal is just taking the number and flipping it. So there you go. First two done. All right, let's move on to some division. In this first problem, notice it says no remainders. Okay, so I'm going to set this up nice and neat. And I am going to say, does 40 go into 2? It does not. Does it go into 21? It does not. Does it go into 210? It does. 5 times. 5 times 4 is 20 with a 0. 5 times 40 is 200. Subtract. Check. 10 is less than 40, so I'm good to go. Now I can't have a remainder, so what I'm going to do is put a decimal point. That's important. And then a 0 to bring down. Really important that decimal goes there, and it goes up here. By putting that decimal in there and adding a 0, I didn't change the value of 210. It just gave me something to bring down. 40 goes into 100 twice. 2 times 40 is 80. Subtract. And I get 20. 20 is less than 40. Good. But I'm still not done. I need another 0. And 40 goes into 200 5 times. 5 times 4 is 20 with a 0. I'm left with nothing. So my answer is 5 and 25 hundredths. Oh, the next one, 30. Take away 2 and 65 hundredths. I know that's about equal to 30. Take away 3. So my answer better be around 27. All right. I need to line my decimal point up. There's a decimal point right there. 2 and 65 hundredths. Let's put in some zeros there. Can't take 5 from nothing, so I need to borrow. 10 minus 5 is 5. 9 minus 6 is 3. Bring my decimal point straight down. 9 minus 2 is 7. 2 minus nothing is 2. I get 27 and 35 hundredths. That's close to my estimate, so I'm pretty confident about that. All right. 1 and 8 tenths times 19 hundredths. I'm multiplying. I do not need to line any decimal points up. I do not need to do that. I'm just going to multiply as if I were doing 18 times 19. All right, so 8 times 9 is 72. 9 times 1 is 9, plus 7 is 16. 0 placeholder. 1 times 8 is 8. 1 times 1 is 1. Add them up. 2, 14, and I get 342. But of course, that answer is 10, 100, 1,000 times too big. I have 1 decimal digit after the decimal point there, 2 here for a total of 3. So I need to move it over 1, 2, 3 times. All right, and that's all there is to it. Okay, on this next problem, let's set it up. 37 and 8 tenths divide by 3 and 6 tenths. So I can't have a decimal point in my divisor. So I need to make that, just a little bit bigger, 10 times bigger actually. So my decimal point ends up here. I can do that if I do the same thing here. So my decimal point is now there. 36 goes into 37 one time. 1 is less than 36, so I'm good to go. Bring down the next digit. 36 does not go into 18 at all. This was a big mistake some people made. They didn't put anything in the quotient. 36 goes into 18 0 times. We need to write it there. 0 times 36 is 0. Subtract. I still have 18. Now my decimal point is here. I can add a 0 after the decimal point without changing the value. Now I can bring that in. And I'm thinking 36 goes into 185 times. 15, 18, and it does. And I'm done with my problem. All right, on this next problem, I'm multiplying, and before I multiply, I'm going to cross-reduce because cross-reducing is your friend. That's how you avoid large numbers and difficult problems. Looks like I can divide 5 and 15 by 5. 5 divided by 5 is 1. 15 divided by 5 is 3. 2 and 16 can both be divided by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. And 16 divided by 2 is 8. Now I can multiply straight across. 1 times 3 is 3. 1 times 8 is 8. And that is my answer. The next problem is very similar, except for I've got mixed numbers, so I need to get these in the form of A over B before I can multiply. So 7 times 3 is 21, plus 3 is 24 sevenths times. 9 times 1 is 9, plus 5 is 14 ninths. Now I'm going to cross-reduce because cross-reducing is your friend, right? 7 divided by 7 is 1. 14 divided by 7 is 2. 9 and 24 can both be divided by 3. 24 divided by 3 is 8. 9 divided by 3 is 3. And now I'm going to get 8 times 2 is 16. 1 times 3 is 3. And that's an ugly, ugly improper fraction. So I'm going to say, how many 3's in 16? Well, there are 5, which is 15 thirds. So if I have 1/3 left over. So there's my answer in simplest form. All your answers on this test should be in simplest form because that's the way we roll. Okay. Moving right along, we have some division. So I have 5/8 divided by, this could be written as 10 over 1. Remember, everything has to be A over B, something over something. And now I'm going to keep my first fraction the same. And I'm going to change division to multiply, and I'm going to use the reciprocal of 1/10. I'm going to flip it. Keep, change, flip. In other words, dividing by 10 is the same as multiplying by 1/10. Taking 1/10 of a group of 5/8 is the same as dividing it into 10 parts. I'm going to cross-reduce because in most circles it is your friend. Divide by 5, divide by 5. And I get 1 times 1 is 1. 8 times 2 is 16. Moving on. Same thing. Got to change these mixed numbers to improper fractions. 2 times 5 is 10. Plus 2 is 12 over 5. Divided by 3 times 5 is 15. Plus 3 is 18 fifths. I'm going to keep the first fraction the same. I'm going to change to multiply, and I'm going to use the reciprocal of the second number. I'm going to flip it. Now, you may have noticed a pattern. I am going to cross-reduce because cross-reducing is my friend. I'm going to divide by 5. And I'm going to divide 12 and 18 by their greatest common factor, which happens to be 6. 12 divided by 6 is 2. 18 divided by 6 is 3. 2 times 1 is 2. 1 times 3 is 3. If I cross-reduce properly, I will already have simplest form, and I do. All right, we're on to our first word problem. All right, Bud and Lou of Lou Abbott and Costello fame, sold 4.2 pounds of trail mix, and they sold the trail mix for $2.85 per pound. How much money did they collect? Now, some people were wondering what they should do for this, which operation. We've done adding, we've done subtracting, multiplying, and dividing, so how do we choose? Well, sometimes I look at it as a simpler problem first. So if you can envision this as maybe 4 pounds and $10 a pound, I think most people were coming up with, well, that might be multiplication. I have 4 groups of 10, right? That's 4 times 10. So instead of 4 and 10, though, we have 4 and 2/10, 2 and 85/100. So really, this is not the problem at all. What I have is, I have 285. There's one group. 285. 2 groups. 285 for 4.2 groups, 4 and 2/10 of a group, and I want to know how much that is. It's still multiplying, just a little harder numbers. So let's set this up. 285 times, I don't line the decimal point up because I'm multiplying. It's just 3 by 2 multiplication. 4 times 5 is 20. 32, 34. 8, 11. 0, 7, 9, 1, 1. I have 1, 2 decimal places there, 1 there, for a total of 3. Uno, dos, tres. And I get $11.97. Moving right along, Hera needs N more dollars, an unknown that we're going to call N, to buy a scrapbook, and that scrapbook cost $12.55. She has $9.18. We want to know how much more money she needs. So if I had the whole cost of the scrapbook, $12.55, and I divided it into groups. No, I'm not going to divide it into groups. I have $9.18, and I need N more. How much more is this? If you look at this, looks like we need to subtract. So that's what we'll do. $12.55, take away $9.18. And I can't take 8 from 5, so I need to borrow or regroup. I get a 7, I get a 3. Again, I need to regroup, and I get a $3.37. All right, Kareem has a car that averages 12 and 4/10 miles per gallon. And Shaquille's car averages 55 and 8/10 miles per gallon. That's awesome. How many times more miles per gallon does Shaquille's car average than Kareem's car? Well, again, if I had another model, a simpler problem, say I have this awesome $100,000 car, and that's my Lamborghini, and I also have a Honda Civic because I'm a reasonable kind of practical kind of guy, and I want to know how many times more expensive the Lamborghini was than the Honda Civic. I would say how many groups of 20,000 would there be? That's one group, two groups. How many groups? So I'm taking 100,000 and dividing it by 20,000. Wow, I could have 5 Civics, but they wouldn't be a Lamborghini. Let's see. So this is not the problem, but it's similar to what we could do. We could talk about Shaquille, the Shaq man, the Shaq attack. He gets 55 and 8/10 miles per gallon, and Kareem, he's old school with his poor gas mileage there. How many times bigger is that? So I'm taking 55 and 8/10, and I'm dividing it, seeing how many groups of 2 and 4/10 I can get out. So let's set this up. 55 and 8/10 divided by 12 and 4/10. So I need to make this 10 times bigger to get rid of that decimal in my divisor. Do the same here. And so my decimal point is right up here in my quotient. 124 does not go into 5. It does not go into 55. It goes into 558. 4 times, I think. 124 times 4. 8, 9. 496. I'm going to subtract. And I get 62. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a 0 here because I have a decimal there. And that 0 isn't going to change the value, but it gives me something to bring down. And it looks like 124 can go into that 5 times. Let's see, 124 times 5. I could have just added 124 to the number above, but anyway, 10, 12, 5, 620, yay! Done. So it looks like it's 4 and 5/10 times more efficient than Kareem's old school car. All right, we want to know the length of a rectangle with an area of 93 1/2 square feet if its width is 8 1/2 feet. So I want to find this. And we know that area equals length times width. we also know with any multiplication thing, say we have 12 equals 3 times 4, I can reverse it and say 12 divided by 3 equals 4, or 12 divided by 4 equals 3. And so I can say the area divided by the width equals the length. That being said, let's set it up. 93 and 1/2 divided by 8 and 1/2. I need them in the form of A over B. 93 times 2 is 186, plus 1 is 187 halves, divided by 8 times 2 is 16, plus 1 is 17 halves, which is 187 halves times 2/17. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to reduce, because cross-reducing is my friend. And you wouldn't know it necessarily by looking at it, but 17 actually is a factor of 187. I suspect this, and you probably should suspect this on the test. So you might try, even if you don't see it right away. It goes in there 11 times. And so this divided by 17 is 1, and this divided by 17 is 11. And look at that, I get 11 over 1, or 11 feet. Okay, Serena's making t-shirts, and each t-shirt requires 2/3 of a yard of fabric. She has 9 1/3 yards, and how many shirts can she make? And so I have, here's my 9 1/3 yards of fabric, and we're pulling out groups of 2/3. There's a shirt. There's another shirt. How many shirts? So this looks pretty clearly like division. I'm dividing a whole up into equal parts. 9 1/3 divided by 2/3. Well, I need it in the form of A over B. 3 times 9 is 27, plus 1 is 28/3 times, flip it. I need to get the Devo song in there. Flip it good. 3 over 2. And look, what do my little eyes spy? But cross-reducing opportunities. And that's 14 over 1. 14 shirts. Cross-reducing was my friend there. Oakley dokley. Here's a problem that you could have. It could be like wicked hard, and you could get it wrong, or it could be super easy, and you can get it right. Because it says estimate. Estimate means find some compatible numbers here, and get an approximate answer. So we have a bulletin board, and I'm going to display my prized possession of Magic the Gathering cards. Of course, I'm going to have them touching, though. That's the problem here, because that's the problem. Well, let's see if I can try this again. I'm going to have my cards totally touching all the way across to maximize the card display ability. And so it looks like I'm taking the whole 35 3/4 and I'm dividing it into 2 1/2, 2 1/2, 2 1/2. I'm dividing it up like that. So I have 35 3/4 divide by 2 1/2. And what I'm going to do is find some compatible numbers. So I'm going to round 2 1/2, my divisor, to 3. And now I'm going to look for something close to this number that 3 can go into. And to me, 36 works. 36 divided by 3 is 12. So my estimate is 12. Okay, we're getting there. This might be the last problem. So I have a train. And my train, my choo-choo train, is 31 1/4 inches long. And each car is 6 1/4 inches long. By the way, model trains, expensive habit. I don't know how people do it. All right, how many train cars? Well, it looks to me like we're clearly dividing. We're dividing 31 1/4 into equal parts. So I get 31 1/4 divide by 6 1/4, and I need these in the form A over B. 31 times 4 is 124, plus 1 is 125 over 4. divide by 6 times 4 is 24 plus 1 is 25 fourths. Keep. Change. Flip. And for one final time on this test, I am going to cross-reduce because I know cross-reducing is my friend. Divide by 4, divide by 25. Can you count by quarters? We used to when we were kids. 25 cents, 50, 75, $1, $1.25, and so on. You guys probably don't even use change anymore. It's all digital. 5 cars. And that is it for the test. Study, study, study. Understand each problem. Understand the algorithms. And come in prepared, and I'm sure you'll do great. All right, take care. See you next time.